YouTubers, part 3. My demobilisation came after about 2.5 years, I think it was. Yes, I was in my early 20s, which of course everybody was very grateful to arrive at that point. And I was very grateful that I had what was really quite an easy time travelling around the coastal defences at naval air stations, where this radar that I was working with was positioned, and in a very small way quite proud of the fact that although I didn't have to go into the horrors of war, that what I was doing was of benefit. Anyway, it was very nice to get out and get back home again and get back to civilization. Or no, that's not true. I'm sorry. To get back to a civil life. There was a when they demobilised you, they kitted you out with a new set of clothes. Which of course was good. I had quite a nice suit and everything that went with it, shirt and tie and shoes and a suitcase. But the silliest thing was also a trilby hat. Well, there was no way a young man of 20 was going to wear a trilby hat. I think they must have bought a job lot in or something. I don't know what happened to it, but actually I wish I'd got it now, because it would be so kitsch as to be, in present terminology, cool. Anyway, I haven't, and so we were back into our home situation again. I went back to my original office where I worked and continued there for a little while in the same manner as I had before. But the government had a scheme whereby anybody who was in full-time education before they were conscripted to serve their country, there would be arrangements made whereby they could continue to do that. I can't remember whether it was free or what it was, but I took advantage of the situation. Who wouldn't? And the college where the college that handled the sort of work that I was involved in was in Leicester, which is a town in the very centre of England, and it's there that I met my future wife. You've been dying for me to tell you that, haven't you? I'll tell you more in another series, but we formed a friendship and a relationship, and she was there working in the Department of Art and Design, and that will have some relevance later on. Well, as you would expect, I got my qualifications and the letters that I could put after my name, which I would never use, and was therefore able to go and apply for jobs wherever they were available. Of course, I would have liked a job in Leicester, but they weren't. There weren't any, so I went to other places first. But the point about my Leicester experience was that it was there that motorcycling really took off for me. My life's dream of being able to give more time to motorcycling, which I did, of course. I joined clubs and competed in events. They were cross-country events called trials, and I did quite well. I was quite popular. I did local trials, national trials, and eventually a few international trials. And it was a great fellowship of friends. And so when I had gone to other towns, that was the place I wanted to gravitate to, back to Leicester. And eventually a job did become available there, which I applied for, and obviously was appointed as a public health inspector in the city of Leicester. The work was very boring, but I would not like to belittle the service, because surely everybody in a Western society must know that public health saves more people and enriches more people's lives and keeps them healthy than any medical health service can possibly do. So it is a very worthwhile job, but I didn't like my life in Leicester, and I must confess I spent a lot of time motorcycling until the point, and this is the sort of big change of life that I've been teasing you with. I packed it in, much against everybody's very sensible advice. I bullied a friend of mine who had a motorcycle business in Leicester, selling all the sort of currently popular bikes of Norton, Triumph, Velocette, Vincent's. He was an older man, obviously, and he tried to make me see the foolishness of my ways, but eventually relented, and therefore it was what I'd always dreamed I wanted to do. I felt very guilty that I maybe had let my parents down, who had sacrificed quite a bit to allow me to follow the previous career, but I it's just something I had to do, and I did it on about a quarter of the wage that I would have been able to achieve in the profession that I had previously followed, and I didn't care two hoots as long as I'd got enough to run my bike. That was all that mattered. I think maybe I've got oil in my veins instead of blood. However, and that's what I did. But, and this I suppose is the teaser for the next breakthrough change of life, is that the time came when we wanted to get married and start a family, which was something that was very important to both of us, and there was no way that I could do that on this wage. I felt nobody could get any more than the going rate for the job, and I decided to set up business on my own. So that will possibly be something for the Telling It All Part 4. So until then, thank you for listening, and goodbye.